Thank you. All right. Good evening and welcome. I would like to call this meeting of the Tacoma Public School Board of Directors for Thursday, April 13th, 2023 to order. Would everyone please rise and join me in the flag salute? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Tacoma Public Schools acknowledges that we are on the traditional and ancestral and historical lands of the Puyallup Tribe of Indians. We honor with gratitude the land itself and the Puyallup Tribe. This acknowledgement serves as a first step in honoring our nearest tribal neighbors and partners who have inhabited this region since time immemorial and to whom we give thanks for allowing us on their lands. We shall intentionally create inclusive and respectful partnerships that honor Indigenous cultures, histories, identities, and socio-political realities. General Counsel Benro, would you please call the roll?
Yes. President Bombright?
Here.
Vice President Strozer?
Here.
Director Keating?
Here.
Director McElroy?
Here.
We have a quorum.
And our student reps.
I see we have Amanda Peterson here.
Okay, thank you, Amanda.
Mm-hmm.
Great, and thank you, General Counsel Benro. All right, on to the adoption of the agenda. Do I have a motion?
I move to adopt. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments, questions, changes to the agenda? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Passes 4-0. Okay, item number 6, notice of public hearing. And I know this is a little unusual, so we'll talk about this for a second, is when we have a resolution that rises to the occasion of requiring by law a public hearing, we have a public hearing within the public hearing. So we're going to call the public hearing to order for the district to determine a sale of property, and we will have the presentation on that, and then we will end that and go on to the regular hearing. Okay? So, the district has determined that the property formerly known as the Willie Stewart Academy at 1818 Tacoma Ave South is not needed for district purposes in the foreseeable future and will not be required for district long-range planning capital facilities. In July of 2022, this Board of Directors, via Resolution 2109, declared that the property as surplus and authorized the district to market the property with the intent to sell. In January of 2023, the district advertised the sale of 1818 Tacoma Ave South site through the process identified, and through that process identified Ferguson Architecture as the recommended buyer. The district is proposing to execute a purchase and sale agreement substantially consistent with the terms of the proposal from Ferguson Architecture for the sale of 1818 Tacoma Avenue South. At this time, the district will hear public testimony related to the execution of a purchase and sale agreement with Ferguson Architecture for the sale of 1818 Tacoma Ave South. Do we have anyone in the audience, any public wanting to speak on this issue?
I have no speaker cards on the public hearing agenda item.
I'm going to ask just again in case somebody didn't know that they needed to fill out a card. Is anyone here interested in discussing the sale of 1818 Tacoma Ave South? Okay, so hearing none, I will ask if anyone on the dais has any questions or comments about this. We're going to be addressing it later on the agenda, but just as part of a public hearing. Okay, hearing none, then this portion, public hearing portion of our full meeting is adjourned, and we are going back into the regular session of public hearing. Okay, regular part of our agenda. Item number 7, recognition of staff, students, and community. I will turn this over to our General Counsel, who will tell us about state holidays and civic observances for the month of April.
Yes, we have 2 in the month of April. These are both legislatively recognized days. They're not state holidays. So the first is Dolores Huerta Day. In 2019, Washington's legislature passed and the governor signed into law in addition to the state's legislatively recognized days, to mark the 10th day of April as Dolores Huerta Day. On Dolores Huerta Day, we recognize Dolores Huerta's leadership in the farm workers' civil rights movement, fighting for better wages and working conditions for farm workers across our country. Our second civic observance is Mother Joseph Day. This is another legislatively recognized day, honoring the work of Mother Joseph, who in the 1800s worked in what was then the Washington Territory to establish the territory's first hospitals, schools, and orphanages. Washington's legislature declared that the 16th day of April shall be recognized statewide as Mother Joseph Day after successful advocacy for this recognition by a group of 6th graders from Evergreen School District in Vancouver.
Awesome.
And those are the two that we have.
Okay, thank you very much. 7.2, the recognition of Shining Star Community Partner Award to Matthew Wilson and Oasis Youth Center. Part 2, right?
Yes.
Thank you very much, Amanda.
All right. Good evening, directors, superintendent, deputy superintendent, our beloved community. My name is Amanda Scott Thomas. I am the director of the Community Partnership Office, and it's my pleasure today to present our Shining Star Community Partner Award. You know that I'm usually here on the fourth Thursday, but our award winner was under the weather and really wanted to be here, and so we are presenting the award for March today. So to give you a little context and background, Tacoma Public Schools defines partnership as a cooperative relationship between students, families, schools, the school district, and the greater Tacoma community. Partners are committed to supporting student academic success and the success of the whole child. Partners work with and invest in the education of our children and youth, whose future in turn will affect the quality of life in the entire Tacoma community. When it comes to student success, Tacoma Public Schools recognizes that schools cannot do it alone. So in recognition of an investment of time, talent, and resources for Tacoma Public Schools students, families, and staff, the Shining Star Community Partner Award signifies honor and thanks to a community partner who has made a difference by doing what is best for kids. So, tonight we have Oasis Youth Center. So the Oasis Youth Center transforms the lives of queer youth by creating a safe space to learn, connect, and thrive. Oasis envisions a world in which queer youth are valued in the community as strong, creative leaders. Oasis is the only drop-in and support center dedicated to the needs of LGBTQ youth ages 11 to 24 in Pierce County. Oasis has committed to creating a safe, affirming space for LGBTQ youth to be proud of who they are with the encouragement they need to become healthy, productive, and fully participating members of the community. Supported by a team of 12 staff and volunteers, Oasis offers an amazing array of activities for more than 500 young people. Established in 1985, Oasis has served over 5,000 youth, staff, and volunteers since its inception. Baker Middle School reached out to Oasis for a student in crisis. After all the other resources did not respond or fell through, Matthew and his colleague came directly to Baker to support a student who was facing an immediate crisis connected to discrimination, homelessness, and safety. They approached the situation with empathy, care, and urgency. And as a result, the student was able to honestly share and get ongoing support. Additionally, Matthew connected with another community resource and helped advocate access and transparency for the future. We want to thank Oasis Youth Center for supporting and empowering youth, creating a healthy community, and providing essential resources, promoting cultural diversity, and advocating for civil rights. So it is the recommendation of the Community Partnership Department to recognize Matthew Wilson and the Oasis Center for being awarded the Shining Star Community Partner Award for the month of March. Can we give them a hand? At this time, we're going to have Matthew say a few words. He has some young people with him, but I did want to note that Matthew's mother is a former TPS principal, so the apple never falls far from the tree.
It's quite an honor. We really appreciate the recognition that you're offering Oasis through the decades of work that we've done together. About 3 weeks ago, we were in front of a different school board, and they were trying to remove the protections of LGBTQ youth students. And some of those folks that provided public testimony are here today. And I wanted to make sure that they were here so they could see that there are accepting, supportive folks in the community, and that we're not just protecting youth, that we're actually celebrating queer youth for who they are. Some of the things that we've accomplished together as TPS and Oasis is responding to bullying through policy, but also personal outreach to students, going in the classrooms to talk with them and have Speakers Bureau where youth talk about their stories to build empathy with other students. This is really cool. So thank you very much. And then we look forward to the future together. And I know, Usagi, you wanted to just...
As a TPS student and someone who is a youth council at Oasis, it really means a lot to be recognised, and I want to say thank you for that.
All right. So before you all sit down, we're gonna have you come up and take pictures with us, but before we do that, I want to see if there's anyone on the dais. I just want to say first myself, on behalf of the board, and everyone's got their own comments to make, I'm sure, but I just want to tell you we're so proud of you and so happy to have you in our school district. And I don't even know where to start, because the work that you do every single day is exceptional, and you keep our community strong, and you inspire. So thanks to each and every one of you for doing the work you do and for being who you are. And I know Director Keating has some comments.
I have some feels. First, I will start by saying that as a parent of a trans child and a trans and queer child, Oasis has been critical to our family, just as knowing that the resource that they existed. And I think I was thinking about it, and I think, Matthew, I started volunteering and working with Oasis at least 10 years ago. I may be longer, but we'll just give it a good 10 years. And I was thinking about the things that we've accomplished together through Oasis, and we helped fight to maintain gender identity protections when they were being threatened from 2015 through 2017, and the hours, and we took youth council members down to Olympia so they could see what the process is, so they could testify and they could learn. And it was really this beautiful experience, as hard as it was, of really unifying. And the thing that Oasis, I think, is so brilliant at doing is creating that space where young people, they're already seen as leaders when they walk in the door.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
They're already seen as being valuable community members by just being present there. And I've learned a lot by being a bridge builder. I served on their action committee for at least 5 years, and still kind of, I think I'm an at-large member for the most part. And Matthew, first, you've been a mentor to me, to my family, to my daughter. And yes, I'll probably make you cry. And we've done some remarkable things together on behalf of kids. And I'm so honored to call you my friend and my boo. So I love you very much, and congratulations.
I'll just say to the students sitting back there who you brought with you, just know you have a place. You are powerful. And if anybody's going to protect you and work to continue to make sure that your rights are protected, you're looking at least 4 of them sitting up here. So thank you for being here. Thank you for standing strong, and keep fighting.
Yep, you are definitely seen, and speaking of that, we're going to take a picture with you, so come on up.
Get up here.
One, two, smile. Oh.
God, James.
Okay, thank you so much, you guys. Thank you. Ready, stay strong. Thank you.
All right. Now, and the fun continues. All right, item number 7.3. I am going to turn this over to you, Superintendent. I think you have James to introduce, and then we will go just let James go through the list, huh?
Yeah, we have a series that are going to fall here, and so maybe what we'll do is we'll let James bring them up individually and maybe collectively at it, and we'll get a picture because I think you have a talented group here up in there. Mr. Neal, would you like to join us?
I would love to.
Thank you.
Good evening, President Bonwright and Board of Directors. Thank you for having us. And we are here to celebrate state champions in our athletics and activities. And so I'm going to invite our Mount Tahoma High School Unified Basketball team up here to stand next to me. Mount Tahoma High School has been competing with the Special Olympics of Washington in unified basketball for the last 9 years. In the last 9 years, they have made it to the state competition 7 times. Mount Tahoma is currently in the process of also working towards a national unified champion school. The Division I Unified State Championship took place in Wenatchee this year, and these are your state champions. This is their 4th state title in unified basketball. Let's give them a round of applause. All right, so go right up there.
Okay.
This makes me so happy.
They're all tall.
Follow me to the back, school board in the front. All right. You guys see everybody's face? See everybody's face? I got one. Okay, 1, 2, 3, smile.
How about T-Bird champions?
All right. T-Bird, let's go. Thank you. Next, we have the Lincoln High School Unified Basketball Team. Come on up. The Lincoln Abes Unified Basketball Team competed in their first time at the state championship in Wenatchee, and they won the Division II state beating multiple high schools from around the state. Also, team members Nathan Mapp and Clyde Lawhorn were named to the Unified All-Star Team and were awarded gold medals for that. Furthermore, they were also awarded the Sportsmanship Award as individual players. Let's give them a round of applause.
Here we go.
Tomorrow, come and join us. Well, okay, we'll take one and then come join the picture. We need some more Lincoln people. My goodness, we got Lincoln people. We got Lincoln people. Okay, Amanda. Thank you.
Ready to go. Ready? Everybody got it? All right. 3, 2, 1. Smile. Lincoln Abes.
Lincoln Abes.
Let's go. All right. Thank you.
Yes, this is gonna start.
Oh, that's right.
I want
Okay.
one of those paintings.
Do we have representatives of Lincoln Cheer tonight? We do not, unfortunately. But we are going to read off the recognition for them. So, in December of 2022, just this last year, Lincoln High School cheer team competed in their first competition since their 2020 state championship. They competed in the Comp in the Swamp qualifier at the Decatur High School and placed second against Spanaway Lake, who was the 2021 state champ. They went on to win their first place trophy in the junior state competition. They changed their routine on the day of to become even better and score higher. And over the following weeks, they even got better using judges' notes. And on February 4th, 2023, at Battleground, Washington, they won the state championship in the Stomp competition. Let's give them a big round of applause. We are now going to move on to individual state championships, and I know that this particular person was unable to make it tonight, but we're going to read off the recognition of Zeta Lee, who is individual state championship in wrestling at the Matt Classic. Zeta Lee is a junior at Mount Tahoma High School and has been wrestling since the age of 6 and has traveled to national tournaments. Zeta has placed fourth at the national level and is currently ranked 21st in the nation at the 110 weight class. She's completed her third year of wrestling competition at high school. She won the state championship in 3A for the past 2 years in the weight class 110. She also volunteers for club wrestling and local tournaments as well as Baker Middle School. Let's give Zeta a big round of applause. Andrew Flores from Lincoln High School, come on up. Welcome, Andrew. Andrew is a freshman at Lincoln High School and finished first at 3 tournaments during the course of this year. He was the Patriot champion, the North Mason tournament champion, and the Grays Cup champion. He finished the season with a winning record of 39-5, finished first in league. Andrew is the first freshman at Lincoln High School to win an individual state championship. In addition to his state title, he's a varsity letterman on the football team, helped the Lincoln football team win their third PCL title and a spot in the playoffs. Let's see, Andrew comes from a family of wrestlers, 3 older brothers who also wrestled at Lincoln. Congratulations to Andrew, who is the weight class 120 Matt Classic champion for 3A boys. This is yours. Yep.
He's all right now.
Yeah.
Do I get to?
Do I get to?
All right. Smile. 3, 2, 1. Lincoln A's. Let's go. Congratulations. Nice job, young man. Unfortunately, our next one got called into work. Elijah Cater of Silas High School, 3A boys, WIA state championship in weight class 126. Elijah Cater is a 2-time state champion in the 3A classification. He won a state title in 21-22 at weight class 120, and this year in the weight class 126. In addition, Elijah competes nationally in freestyle and Greco wrestling. He's qualified for the USA Wrestling National Championship multiple times. He is also a volunteer coach at local youth programs and can be found in the mat serving as a referee. In local tournaments, he's also pursuing opportunities to wrestle in college and further his education. Let's give Elijah a big round of applause. Oh, you want to say something? Oh. What is that?
North Idaho College.
He just signed to go to North Idaho College and wrestle.
Go Cardinals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know somebody else in the room that wrestled there.
Yes, here he comes.
This is Jake Ferris, his high school coach. Jake's late because he was coaching at Truman.
You're coaching at Truman too?
He gets around.
Let's see. And we have our last wrestler, Navarre Dixon. Did Navarre make it? Darn it. All right. Well, Navarre was a state champion as well at Lincoln High School. He is a junior for the 3A boys WIA state championship in weight class 182. Navarre competed 3 years at wrestling, finished 9-1 and second in the Pierce County League. No state competition in 2021. In 22, he was voted the team captain. He won numerous tournaments and finished the season with a winning record of 35-2, placing first at the PCL, first in regional, and third at the state tournament in weight class 182. Again this year, he was voted the team captain, won numerous tournaments, and going with a record of 38-3. Again, he was the PCL champ, the regional champ, and won the WIA MAT Classic at 3A boys for 182 weight class. He was an honorable mention to the All-State Academics team with a 3.4 GPA. Navarre's father also attended Lincoln High School, and his two older brothers wrestled at Lincoln, both placing at state. His brother was a back-to-back state champion. In addition, Navarre state titles. He is a 3-year letterman on the football team and has helped lead the Lincoln Abes to a 3-time league titles in football. He was also voted All-PCL running back this last year. Let's give Navarre Dixon a round of applause. Thank you for having me. That's it for now.
Thank you. It's an impressive group, and I'm just proud of all of our TPS athletes, whether you end up getting first place at championship at state or whether you just made it across a finish line once. Just thanks for hanging in there. Thanks, James, for you and the entire staff that supports our students in their youth athletics. So
Thank you.
You're all amazing. Thank you.
Madam President, Board of Directors, 7.4 is the recognition of our district's newest National Board Certified Teachers and recently renewed Board Certified Teachers. And tonight we have Mr. Zeke Edmond, Assistant Superintendent of Teaching for Learning, to lead us off in this great celebration.
Yeah, we'll keep the champions rolling. So, our National Board certificate is nationally recognized as an advanced teaching credential. It complements but does not replace our state teacher license. And these teachers voluntarily elect to pursue a deeper understanding of their students, their content, knowledge, the use of data and assessments in their teaching practices. The certification process is performance-based and evaluated using multiple measures, which requires the teachers to demonstrate standards-based evidence of a positive effect that they're having on our students and their learning. Created for teachers by teachers, the National Board certification is built upon National Board standards and 5 core propositions, which include teachers are committed to students and their learning, teachers know the subjects they teach and how to teach those subjects, teachers are responsible for managing and monitoring student learning, teachers think systematically about their practice and learn from experience, and teachers are members of a learning community. Tacoma Public Schools, through the Curriculum and Instruction Office, provide cohort support at no cost for candidates that are either getting their boards for the first time or renewing. And at Tacoma Public Schools, we have 235 of our certificated staff are National Board teachers, which is dynamite. Washington State continues to be one of the top 2 to 3 states in the country with teachers earning their national board, and we in Tacoma tend to stay in the top 5 in Washington of the number or percentage of our teachers earning the certificate. So with that, even through the entertaining experience we had last year of COVID, we have 5 new certified teachers to the ranks. Tonight I will call their names and bring them forward if they are here this evening. We have Colin Kelly, Emily Rorty, Kevin Heinrich, Megan Holyoke, and Season Jackson. So these are the newbies for National Board. And then we have 45 folks, I am not going to call all their names, but we will ask them if they are present to come on down, who renewed their certificate, which usually goes about 5 years. And it's a very similar process, again, reevaluating their instruction through multiple measures. So if you are one of our Renew National Board teachers, please come on forward.
on the stage.
Here we go
Come on
again.
around.
Tall people in the front.
Get cozy. Get cozy.
People under 6'5".
We can't see every face though.
Which face do you want?
Come on, Meredith, get up there.
Still can't see every face. Still can't see every face. Still can't see every face. Let's see. Okay, okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Ready?
Okay. 1, 2, 3. No, he's not. 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you, Rick. You're so good. Yay!
For our national board renews and news, if you would make your way across the hall to the other boardroom, Michelle Tyson would like to celebrate with you. I heard she even has swag, of which I got none, but thank you for joining us. Right.
Just jealous. All right, well, that was an exciting part of the board meeting. Yes, thank you all, hardworking teachers. We appreciate you and love you. All right, item number 8, superintendent's report. We do not have one this evening. Number 9, staff report to the board. Again, this evening we don't have one. Number 10, members of the board wishing to address the board. Why are you laughing at me? Okay, so I think we do have some blue cards. So I will say that school board members encourage public participation. Your civil input is appreciated. Board members will not respond to your comments during the meeting, but the superintendent or designee will follow up with you after the meeting if action is needed. And instead of speaking at the meeting, there's alternately an opportunity to send an email to the board prior to the meeting at board@tacoma.k12.wa.us. And please contact the board office in advance of the meeting for disability accommodations. So there were no written comments as of the time I printed my agenda. So we're not going to worry about that. But there are, I think, a couple of verbal comments. So I'm going to turn it over to the general counsel who will take us through that.
Yes. Public comment proceeds under Board Policy 1430. Under Policy 1430, the board president may interrupt and/or terminate comments if the speaker exceeds the time allotted or when comments are either personally directed, abusive, obscene, or irrelevant. You can find a summary of Board Policy 1430 on the back and front of the blue comment cards in the lobby and also on our website at tacomaschools.org. So this evening we have 2 public comments, verbal public comments. First is from Kimmy from Vibrant Schools.
Always a pleasure to be here representing Vibrant Schools. First of all, I just want to make an announcement. Vibrant Schools has become more vibrant. We are now Vibrant Schools of Puget Sound, not just Tacoma. And we are now a bona fide 501c3. So I just want to make that announcement. And we're very happy that there are funders in the local Puget Sound area that believe in our work. And we're getting significant funding, which means we can do more in our public schools. But I'm here tonight on a couple of reasons, or a couple of statements. First of all, I want to give a shout out to Malik and Susan Anderson for the good work that they're doing with the equity team. And I say that because as an organization that's about community voice, we appreciate the fact that we have a community voice on the equity team, but I know it takes staff a lot of hard work and a lot of preparation to make everything prepared for us as we come to those meetings. So I want to thank Malik and your staff for keeping us going, and also our director, Elizabeth Bonwright, for being there to continue to have a policymaker there. I also want to give a shout out to Roz and Kristen on the in the budget department. I serve on that team as well. And I say all that to say that to have staff in folks like Malik and Susan and Roz and Kristen doing the kind of work that they do to have preparation so that we who come in as a community can give that community voice in a very comprehensive way. And I think sometimes we forget to acknowledge the hard work that goes behind the scenes so that community voice can be heard and that policy and accountability can go forward. Having said that, I just want to remind you that I know there's a significant concern, challenge with Stanley and what's happening at that playfield. And I just want to encourage you to make sure, as you go through that process to make the decisions about what's going to happen to Stanley and the field, that you make sure that there's community voice in that process. I thank you again for recognizing that community voice is an important part of the process so that every student, every day, is successful in Tacoma schools.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
All right. Our next speaker is Kristen Brown.
Thank you. I appreciate your time and everything that you all do. I didn't want to speak, and so I didn't prepare anything, but there's this piece going on over at Soda School that I think isn't only affecting my children, but also other children. After COVID, I have very highly capable children, but after COVID, one of them has been struggling. And the school has been amazing at trying to figure out how to work with her and help her graduate. And so I appreciate what they're doing. But I was just at this summit with educators and moms and parents, and I found out about Running Start. And I am so ignorant when it comes to the resources in our community. And I'm talking to them and asking questions and going, wow, this would have been an amazing piece or an amazing option that we didn't even look at. And my daughter's graduating, what's done is done, but with the struggles that the kids are going through, especially at Sammy, Soda, and IDEA, they don't have the sports programs that the other schools, the kid, it's just a different environment, right? I know Lisa spends a lot of time over there, and so I don't know what the barrier is in keeping, in not having that option more explained, more known, more talked about, more available. I know financially there's some things that happen where if a student leaves the school and then they go to TCC, there might be a conflict of interest there. I don't know. I haven't looked into it that much, but I'm hoping that we can bridge that missing piece over at Soda, IDEA, and Sammy, and hopefully that's not an issue at the other schools, but it's something that needs to be worked on so that the kids over there can succeed.
Thank you for sharing. Okay, anyone else, General Counsel?
Nope.
Okay, appreciate that. All right, moving on to the consent agenda, item number 11. Do we have a motion?
I move to adopt.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Do we have any comments, questions, additions, subtractions from the consent agenda? Okay, hearing none, all signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Passes 4-0. Item 12, policy matters. 12.1, first reading of new policy 5515, workforce secondary traumatic stress. General Counsel, would you like to describe and introduce this item?
Sure. I'll start by introducing it. The district's general counsel, on behalf of the Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources, recommends the board review the proposed draft of the new strike that revised policy 5515 and provide feedback before a second reading. So this policy 5515 is largely based on our WASDA model policy. There was a law passed in 2021. This is RCW 28A300-825 that requires school districts in Washington to pass a policy and accompanying regulation that governs its response to secondary traumatic stress. This includes providing resources. The OSBI is working with WASDA and SEB, the School Employees Benefits Board, to come up with resources available to staff at schools, teachers, classified, administrators, everybody, that deal with students with traumatic issues and thereby can suffer some secondary traumatic stress of their own. So this policy is a starting place. We'll have an accompanying regulation if this passes it after second reading that'll push out some of those resources to our staff members. The effort is led by the Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources, Renee Trueblood, and one of our staff members doing a lot of work on this, Monica Fritz. So after the passage, we'll begin the resource rollout.
Thank you. Okay, do we have want to have any comments on this? I know this is first reading, so we don't,
Yes.
we don't have a lot. I know you've all looked at this. I also will say it is scheduled to me, the Equity Policy Review Team, which Kimmy was talking about, will be looking at this next week. So, and then it'll come back to us with their input for second reading. Does anybody have any comments at the moment? Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, General Counsel. Item 15, Business Matters. 15.1, the approval of guaranteed maximum price, GMP, Amendment 2 with Neely Construction Company for the ground floor, Willie Stewart Academy South tenant improvement project. Did we have a Willie Academy North? Never mind. Okay.
This is an extension of the current Willie
I had the
Stewart-
same question, by the way.
Thank you.
So this is an extension of Willie Stewart Academy where we're going to have additional classroom and office spaces. The Chief Operating Officer recommends that the Board of Directors approve the Guaranteed Maximum Price Amendment 2, which states the cost for the 9th and Broadway ground floor Willie Stewart South tenant improvements project and authorize the superintendent or designee to sign said amendment in the amount of $6,472,560 excluding sales tax.
I move to adopt item 15.1.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any comments or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, it passes 4-0. And I did notice, if you would bear with me for 30 seconds, that my exuberance skipped over the financial report because there really isn't one, but I have something to say about it. And then also item 14. I don't know, Chris, we saw you back there, you looked ready, and I was go for it, right? So I'm just going to back up for 30 seconds. Item 13, the financial report. The next quarterly financial report will be presented at the May 25th, 2023 business meeting. You can go to our website to look at our financial statements at any time, https://www.tacomaschools.org/department/business and finance. And just for the record, item 14, which is usually curriculum instructions, we have none this evening. So back to you, Chris Williams. Item 15.2, approval to award contract with B&B Builders for the pre-construction design build service of the Oakland High School Historical Modernization Project.
The Chief Operating Officer recommends that the Board of Directors approve the agreement which states the pre-construction services for the Oakland High School Historical Modernization Project and authorize the superintendent or designee to sign said amendment in the amount of $4,346,131 excluding sales tax.
I move to adopt item 15.2.
Thank you.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments or questions on this item?
I'd just like to say that I'm excited for Oakland students and the staff to be getting a new building. It's going to be, having seen the impacts of the students at Willie Stewart and being in a new building and in a space that makes them proud and is beautiful, and I'm just excited for the Oakland students.
And just as a clarification, it's actually not a new building, it's a renovation of the historical building, which, like we did with Jason Lee now, Hilltop Heritage, doesn't look that different from the outside, but the inside was pretty amazing, so, yeah, okay. Yes, so did we vote? No.
Moved in second.
Moved in second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any extensions? All right, get 4-0. Moving on to item 15.3, approval of the contract with Beasley Enterprise for Green Schoolyards project at Reed and Stafford Elementary Schools.
Yes, this is part of our partnership with Metro Parks and the Trust for Public Lands to ensure that everyone has access to public parks within 10-minute walking distance. The Chief Operating Officer recommends that the Board of Directors approve the superintendent to award the contract with Beasley Enterprise for the procurement of necessary equipment and services in the amount of $1,586,000 excluding sales tax.
I move to adopt item 15.3.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments on this item? Hearing none, please signify by saying aye. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, 4-0. You have got that one back too. All right. Item 16.1. 16 is other business, and 16.1 is the adoption of resolution number 2120, authorizing the sale of 1818 Tacoma Ave South to Ferguson Architecture. And for the public that's watching, this was the public hearing we had earlier on at the board meeting. So now that we've had no comments, we're ready to proceed.
Just a quick overview. Almost a year ago, the district made a decision to relocate Willie Stewart to 9th and Broadway and provide the students and staff with newly renovated spaces. In June 2022, the district made a decision that the old Willie Stewart had no longer useful purpose for the district. We recently advertised this property for sale. We have a viable buyer. It's Ferguson Architect. They are a Tacoma-based firm. They've been in business for over 10 years, and they intend to use the spaces for their offices. And Mr. Ferguson is here if you can just raise your hand.
Awesome.
The Chief Operating Officer recommends that the Board of Directors adopt resolution number 2120 and approve the sale of 1818 Tacoma Avenue South to Ferguson Architecture.
Do we have a motion?
Do we motion or?
We do motion?
Yeah.
We do. We move in second.
I motion. I
You
move to
move?
adopt.
And-
Second.
Okay, we'll turn it over to the general counsel since it's a resolution so that we can
Yeah.
call the roll.
Okay, we'll have a roll call vote. President Baumgart,
Aye.
Vice President Schroeder,
Aye.
Director Keating,
Aye.
Director McCullough.
Aye.
The resolution passes.
4-0. Okay, thank you, Mr. Williams, for your help this evening. And thanks for the team that's been working hard on the sale of that property and making sure that it has the best use for our community and it's in the best interest of our taxpayers and how we go through this. So thank you for that. All right, so before we go into board comments and reports, I'm going to take the pleasure as the president to make a comment about the Stanley Playfield, because I know this has been a big issue for our community, and we have all shown up and been at these public hearings that have been happening around this, and we know the passion that the community feels about this. And I want to thank the community for their feedback, their patience, and during this process, and their really thoughtful input. It's been fabulous. I also want to thank the families and neighbors for sharing their voices with us, and their thoughts and opinions have been heard and are deeply valued. And in addition to that, since this is a project on which Metro Parks Tacoma, our very long and treasured partner, is the lead, they took the first action this week. There we go, that's much better. So I want to thank our staff as well as Metro Parks staff for the hard work that everyone's put into this, to coming to some closure around collecting the thoughtful, responsive, and being responsive to the comments of the community while keeping the best interests of the students in mind. And I know that and I want to respect and honor the revised decision that was made by our Metro Parks commissioners this very week. And they've all offered a potential alternative. And with that, I'm asking my colleagues to join me in asking you, Superintendent Garcia, and your team to explore the proposed options in front of us now and any others that may exist that best support our students in the most immediate and timely fashion. Because I want to make it clear to the folks in partnership with our community that we will build the long-promised new ball fields for our stadium high school student athletes and their families. So it's just how and when, how we can pull this together, but we are yoked together on a team on this approach, and we've been listening to the community, and I think we're moving absolutely in the right direction. So, and Superintendent, if you can bring back to us some next steps, we'd really appreciate that.
Absolutely. We will examine all the possibilities to ensure that we meet the promises that we promised to our voters as well as to our citizens. And we use the term stadium, but these fields are serviced for the stadium region, right? So we use a variety of kids from all over the neighborhoods that feed into stadium would be on using these fields. So we'll look at that option as far as what Metro Parks has offered and see the viability of that. We're in process of that. We don't know. We'll see if that is a viable option. Can we make it a viable option? And then we'll also look at maybe some of our own properties, anything there. And so please be patient with us. We have a lot of work to do, but I will tell you that as soon as we heard, we have begun to work. So we will bring you back some updates, even if it's no new information on a regular basis, and we will be communicating out with our constituents as well.
Thank you. Okay. And anyone else have anything to say? All right. So we are moving on to the comments, and we have our student rep, Amanda, come on up. It's always my favorite part of the meeting.
Hi, my name's Amanda Peterson, and I go to Lincoln High School. First, I'd like to start off by saying that it was really good to hear how well our athletes and our teachers, our staff have been doing. I saw some teachers that I haven't seen for years, since like elementary and middle school, so that was really exciting. It was heartwarming. I know that they worked so hard on top of keeping up good grades and everything else that life brings, so it was really good to see that they're getting the recognition that they deserve. Now on to some Lincoln updates. Tomorrow we have a pep assembly. We've been working really hard on that, so I'm really excited to finally get to do that. And we announced the prom date, and that's going to be May 13th. To end it off, I have an observation that I've made on the Lincoln students lately. Usually when I come up here, I'm just talking about the next events that Lincoln has, and then I've been pondering, like, how helpful is this really to you guys? So I'm gonna like change the way that I'm thinking about how I'm presenting this, and kind of like take, okay, how am I feeling, and how does my school feel about whatever is happening? So an observation that I've had is that students lately, they've just been kind of tired and stressed, and I feel like that's because of the upcoming AP test and then all of the prep that goes into that. And I don't know, people have just been kind of moody and unmotivated, but I know that's something that's going to pass, because with the school year rapidly ending, sadly, and I know that it'll pass, and hopefully it'll start to pass with tomorrow's pep assembly. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you, Amanda, for always thinking about how you can be a better rep and how you can be helpful to us, and how also let us know if there are ways that we could think differently about questions to ask you that would make it easier. So you and your colleagues on the board. All right, who wants to go first tonight?
I can go.
Okay.
I love going first.
I know you do.
Oh, okay.
Director McElroy.
I'm quick, but I'm working on slowing down, because my friends at Bernie told me that when videos are captioned and I'm speaking too fast, it's hard to caption and see what's really being said, even like on those automated YouTube videos, which they do go back and watch and then tell me about myself. So I'm slowing down a bit. There's a lot of things going on in the city of Tacoma that I'm very excited about, that I've gone to, things I've seen, heard, and been a part of. On last night, the Tacoma's Poet Laureate had the passing of the torch, and it was passed to Christian Page, which is a TPS graduate and someone who also participated in the Act 6 scholarship, and he gave a lot of insight. The youth that were present, I think that they really learned a lot from him. And then also the former laureate is a Keithley Middle School teacher, so it kind of speaks to the community and who we are, that our students and our teachers are really involved in this work of bringing community together in different ways and utilizing their voice. So that was really awesome. Coming up this weekend is the spring fair. People don't talk about it anymore, but like it's a thing. It's a thing that kids and families should go to. It's a lot of fun. The weekend after that is the Junior Daffodil Parade, which is coming back. It kind of had a little moment, and we were worried it wasn't going to come back after COVID, and there's this whole coalition of folks in the Proctor District that came together to bring this back for our Tacoma community. It's always been a staple for elementary age students, and the middle school bands come out, which is a lot of fun for me as a middle school marching band geek. It was fun. And then that same day, there's two other things happening. On April 22nd is Litter Free 253, which is the citywide cleanup. If you're not signed up, you should sign up. They are cleaning up parks in your area, but then also it's just kind of a way to get involved in your community. If you care, we show up and we talk about lots of things, but you can show how you care through your actions. Same day, see 3 things in one day, is the Tacoma Sustainability Expo at UW Tacoma, which I'll be going to. I've always wanted to learn more about how we create a more sustainable Tacoma and how we participate in cleaning up our community inside and out. And that leads me to my next point, which is the ongoing violence, youth violence. And what does that look like? I think as a preschool teacher, I can see violence through a multitude of lenses, from a parent lens, from a teacher lens, and from a child's lens, because they talk to me about their feelings. Violence for children doesn't always look physical. Sometimes it is verbal, and the things that they hear are really impacting their mental health. And we talk about violence, we talk about physical violence, we talk about gun violence, but are we talking about those microaggressions and that type of violence and harm that is imposed upon our students? I've been contacted a lot about our policy 1600. General Counsel, I've been contacted a lot about Policy 1600 and how do we actually quantify what is a microaggression and how is that impacting someone and the lifelong implications of their interactions going forward. I'm a victim of childhood microaggressions. I'm a victim of adult microaggressions, and those are mostly verbal. Those can be the way you look at someone, the way you talk to them. And so from my conversations with youth, from 4 years old to 16 years old, and those are interesting conversations, just thinking about the way that we are modeling that behavior, it's not on the teachers alone. Every adult in a community, it's our responsibility to show them how we want them to behave. So if I'm talking in a nasty tone, the children will reflect that. And not just as a teacher, as a person in community. If I'm mean at the grocery store, the kids are gonna hear it and feel it. And so I think when we take away the bigger issues of violence and we pack that really down to that micro level, let's talk about how we wanna show up in community. So those are some community events you can go to, and please be nice when you're there.
Thank you. Very appropriate comments, and go Earth Day. I'm so excited. I love that day every year. Director Keating, would you like to go next?
Trying to help that echo. It feels like a lifetime happened from the last board meeting, as they often do. I wanted to say that I did get to attend one of the performances at Stadium for Les Miserables, and first, it is a remarkably complicated musical in and of itself, and the way that the staff and students put it together and performed was really unbelievable, and just amazing kudos to them, because that's a courageous musical to take on. So from the staging, from the performances, from the tech, they did a remarkable job. And then, so as far as like school things, I got to do the Geiger, I was at Geiger on Monday morning in the rain, like everyone else, for the walk and roll. Is it called the walk and roll to school, right? Gave out lots of stickers. Yes. I gave out more stickers per kid, but it's all right. And so they had, what was fun about it, so as a former Geiger parent, it's a very familiar place to me. And so they had they were creating new walking paths that hadn't been utilized in the same way before. So I got to be outside the amphitheater, and actually our own Mike Rupert and I stood there and we passed out stickers. It was phenomenal. And it was just really fun. It's just fun to see kids, and they had a great time. They knew exactly where to go, even though their parents were really worried, like, are you sure they know where to go? And I'm like, they know where to go. So that was really fun to do. And then what else? Lots of stuff with WASDA. The legislative session is quickly coming to a close. There's still not much to report, still more of vagueness and uncertainty as budgets between the House and the Senate are negotiated, and then they will come together to negotiate. So it'll be quite a bit, probably, as I was talking with Chief Financial Officer, Ms. Medina, that it'll probably be right up to the end of session, which is the 23rd of April, I think. I think that's right. So last night was, I actually was down at the Capitol last night to hear a bill that is will help protect LGBTQ youth experiencing homelessness, and host homes, and so it was a pretty fiercely debated piece of legislation, and I've been working on that just in an advocacy level for some time, so I just wanted to see it across, wanted to see that get across. So, but that was the final bill, so no more bills are being heard and debated in the House, and the Senate had completed their final bills, I think, I don't know, sometime this week. It blurs together. And then the other, like as far as like legislative pieces, the Biden administration over 2 years ago began reviewing Title IX and working to expand the protections of Title IX, or restore, I should say, restore them to May of 2016 during the Obama administration, that also extended protections for trans students under Title IX, and those were rescinded, and so this has been the rules process is very long and arduous, and so on the 6th Thursday of last week, the administration released the proposed rules that were around trans students in athletics. And like most things in policy and governance, it's complicated. So there's a 30-day public comment period, and so I've been doing a lot of monitoring and reviewing and talking with other policy experts and legal folks about what does this mean, what does the implementation look like, and if this stays on track, the proposal or the public comment period will close, and then if it closes, or ideally what the administration is looking for is to have these rules be implemented for the 2023-2024 school year. So things move really slowly and then really fast when it comes to many things government. So there are some questions and concerns, and then also some positives. I will say that one of the positive things about this these rules are that it would eliminate categorical bans for trans students to participate in athletics on a federal level, and that's extremely important because in 20 states, trans students are already banned from participating in athletics. So there's a lot of misinformation out there, I will say, regarding trans students and trans people and trans youth. So this is something that I have been we've been anticipating. So that there's more to come to that, and this is something that WASDA is also analyzing. And so this is like this is a pretty substantial rule that's been released, and so. And the other thing Traffic and Safety Committee meeting, today is Thursday, right? So that was yesterday. I just wanted to share a few things that was shared to me about safe routes to school, some fun things that they have going on. So they have some construction. So the city of Tacoma will begin 7 construction projects that enhance walking, biking, and transit access safety near schools. The projects include enhanced crossings with rapid flashing beacons, raised crosswalks, sidewalk infill, and transit stop pads and protected bicycle lanes. I've learned on this committee that there's a whole language to traffic and sidewalks and what all that means. I don't know what all that means that I said out loud just now. I just need you to know. But it's going to be good for pedestrian safety. They have their bike rodeos as I'm just going to read this as it's been sent to me. As focus schools receive construction, the City of Tacoma Safe Routes to School program partners with Focus Elementary Schools to host a bike rodeo. This spring, the program is supporting 4 bike rodeos where students will receive free helmets and learn bicycle handling skills through a fun obstacle course. There's traffic gardens that are going to be happening June and July. And then there is, there's a walk and bike roll to school day, in May. So maybe that's not what I went to on Monday. I just might have conflated that. Anyways, so that's coming. So anyways, there's a lot of really great partnerships that with Safe Routes to School in the city of Tacoma and the health department. So that's really cool. The last thing I just want to say, since I have a senior, I'm going to take a little privilege. And since that senior's principal is in the audience, I just want to say that I just want to acknowledge first our seniors, and to Amanda's comments about just like feeling like, you know, just the stress and the pressure. I see it at home, and I just want to acknowledge our students that are working really, really hard, and they keep showing up. And they keep trying. And I also want to acknowledge the staff and all the staff that are supporting our seniors right now. This is a really big transition for students, families, and our staff. It's just a big transition. And now that I'm living it, I mean, I knew it was big, but now I'm living it. So, and then to all the seniors that are, you know, also making the decisions of what are you going to do next, whatever that is, like that's a big decision to make. So I just want to acknowledge all of our seniors and our staff supporting them. And that's it.
Well, thank you. That was meaty as always. Director Strozier, or Vice President Strozier, sorry.
Hey, thank you.
Oh, he's got his radio voice on.
I did all that just to say, JMAC is tomorrow.
Yes.
Other than that, I have no report for
Oh,
you, so you
come
can
on.
close it.
All right. All right. Yeah, that was great. I can count on you. All right. So speaking of JMAC, which is tomorrow, but one of the things I did since the last board meeting was there's a work group, a small work group on this youth violence prevention component. And we've been diving in deep, and I know that we're going to be bringing proposals of different kinds back to JMAC tomorrow, so we can start talking about action steps and moving forward and how we're getting there, because we cannot lose a single child more. I mean, it has just been a horrible year, and so we are going to create safe spaces for our kids during the summer. And that is priority number one right now. So we'll be getting back to you with more details on how we can help as a community, not just the schools, it's all of us, to make sure that our kids are safe. And this morning went to the superintendent parent breakfast, and the workshops afterwards were really great. And two of them that I went to were both along this topic, kind of really enlightening. One was with a gentleman who focuses on belonging and the meaning of belonging, and how do we welcome people to feel part of instead of othered. And it was really just some great ways words to live by, and so that was great. And then the second one was one on restorative justice and how we can start from the very youngest children all the way up, modeling and being good examples. And again, it's not something that happens in the schools or just happens in the schools. It has to happen at home, and it has to happen where these kids are out in communities. So you'll hear more about what we're doing, all of that, at the next meeting, right? And that Director Strozier will be reporting on. So I also want to say I went to Oakland High School and spent the whole day there, and just went to a bunch of classes and talked with students one-on-one, and walked the facility, and just really was impressed with the dedication that these kids have. And even though life has thrown a lot of challenges at them, they're showing up as best they can, and the teachers are all very committed. And I think what you said earlier about Oakland having like all the kids you see when they have a different school that's been renovated or rebuilt, there's just a glimmer in their eye that just makes them feel more excited about being there. So I'm looking forward to that happening for the Oakland kids in the next years to come. The last item I wanted to say goes back to this whole youth violence prevention piece, and I actually had an opportunity to meet T.J. Bowl, who is the administrator of Pierce County Juvie Justice and Juvenile Justice, and he runs Raymond Hall. Well, we run Raymond Hall, but I mean together it's a collective process. But and also just he's got a great vision, and he's been incorporating the whole child approach to the work at Raymond Hall with these kids that have been kind of put into custodial care there, and I met with the kids, and it was really very amazing to me. He's got a lot of data on the violence and the projection of violence and where it is happening and all of that. So that was very informative, and really appreciate TJ and his staff and all the work they do to keep our kids safe and in alternative programs as much as possible rather than incarceration, because we all know that that's a stain on your life report card that is hard to erase. So anyway, I want to thank TJ for taking the time. Renee Frobling and I went together, and she is the TPS principal or whatever of Raymond Hall. So that, and she and I really, it's like, she said, I didn't even know half of what we learned today. So it's just it's new. It's great because it's always changing. So I just want to remind people that we're not alone in this work. This is hard work. This is really hard work to kind of tap down violence, and the kid violence is up, but I think it's because they're feeling hopeless, and they're feeling not heard, and they're feeling depressed, and all those things. The mental health is a huge piece, and so we all play a role. So those of you that are listening as parents or as community partners or as TPS staff, we all have to think, what can we do to make it a better place and a safer place for our kids? And make sure to listen to kids. If they're in front of you, don't be intimidated by them. That's one of the things the guy said today. Don't be intimidated by them. Engage them. You may just find that you grow because of the relationship. So it was great. So that is my report for today. And I think the only thing left on the agenda, what? Oh, really? You?
I forgot something. And when you were speaking to youth violence, and that's something I've been focusing on heavily, I was also reminded that there's so many positive things happening in one of my middle schools that I've been focusing on a lot. And I pulled the text up. So there's going to be a jazz night at Gray on next week, Wednesday, and it's a community event. Their jazz band and choir is performing with world-renowned musicians. That's what the text they sent me said. And the Ron Perillo Quintet and Wayne Greer are coming out to Gray Middle School.
Oh, wow.
And it's such a huge deal that they went out of their way. They're trying to do this interventive work, and they were like, how can we get ahead of this issue? So they're bringing in so many community partners. Shout out to Amanda Scott Thomas. I know she just left, but the partnerships that we have in our schools make schools better. And the kids text me, and they wanted me to know that there's an event, and it's really positive.
Cool.
At Gray.
Awesome.
For the whole community with light refreshments.
Oh, okay then. That ought to get a few people in the door. Okay, well, thank you for sharing that, and we can remind us about that later too. All right, so item number 18 is the announcement of next regular board meetings, which are April 20th. We will be back here for a study session at 6 p.m. And the topic, I believe, is budget and
Capital projects.
Capital projects, okay. So April 27th, we will have our next business meeting, and then May 11th will be the one after that, the first one in May. So does anyone have anything for the good of the order? Okay, hearing none, we are officially adjourned. Travel safely, everyone, and we will see you next week.